I mean, yeah, you'd basically have to have them show how strong Yamato is. Because imagine if it worked the other way. If Dessler ran in, destroyed the Yamato, they'd be like, oh, the Yamato was nothing then. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with some more Space Battleship Yamato. In fact, Space Battleship Yamato 2, as we're actually starting the second season. This is after I have watched a second movie, Farewell Space Battleship Yamato, or Arrivederci Space Battleship Yamato. So we know what happens in that story. There's two things I want to bring up real quick before we get into our normal thing of what we come back with, which is one, this is the best quality that I could find of Space Battleship Yamato 2. I don't remember how it'll stand up to the quality of Space Battleship Yamato 1. I have been, I guess, tainted a little bit in that I watched the movie and wow, I was like, wow, this movie's better quality than the show was. And I was like, oh, is that going to be our standard? Well, I just double checked with this, and no, we're going back to the quality of the show. So, not a complaint, just if there is a better quality version out there, I don't know it. Also, oddly, the video size of Space Battleship Yamato 2 is not the same size as the first season. So I am cropping off a little bit on the top and a little bit on the bottom because I had to make it fit. I apologize for that as well. I am still doing my thing where I edit the subtitles to fit the screen better. I have to literally, without it, for some reason, the subtitles go like 4 lines tall, and that is, I hate that. I hate that a lot. So I have edited the margins and the placement on the screen. Let me know if that makes it worse. I won't know. I'll just be working off my own opinion here. I think that's everything. I've said this in a number of videos now over the last couple of weeks. Something is going on with my tongue. It really hurts to talk sometimes. So if I start sounding weird, I apologize for that as well. Anyway, let's actually hop in to the normal track of stuff that we do, which is to say I have notes, I have comments, and I have a board. So let's go ahead and hop into the board real quick and see what we get. I think when it comes to the board changelog for episode 26, I really only have that I marked Okita as dead. Unfortunately, I think I did some of the changes right after the episode, so I didn't actually mark him down. Like, obviously, Dessler. Well, maybe I didn't. I know I already had Dessler marked as dead because last episode, or episode before last. So maybe I just didn't change that with the assumption that he was dead that time, and the fact that he came back and then died again just means I didn't change anything. Anyway, acknowledgement that that happened. I guess the other thing is that what I said during the movie that I would do, I have done. Farewell to Space Battleship Yamato, the alternative reality. So what happened in the movie, which is why it's sideways to our main board, and the events of this, the actual timeline, not the retconned timeline, will take place down here. So anything that happens off to the sides will be alternative timelines. Just imagine I put an arrow or a line from here to here. Otherwise, yeah, I don't have a board changelog for this because obviously this happened, and if you watch the movie, you watch the movie. Otherwise, you can look at the board and whatever link I have in the video down below and see what the connections are. Other than that, notes, as I said, I've got them. The thing about Dessler surviving, I have no problem with on the face of it. Bad guys return all the time in shows like this. The problem is that they showed too much of when he died. He got crushed by falling debris, and then the hanging tower that he was in fell with him in it. He got crushed, fell from a great height, and then got crushed again. That's a lot of stuff to retcon and make it somewhat believable. Not actually getting crushed the first time, fine. Common trope in movie slash TV shows to have something that collapses and then have a pocket under the rubble. So him escaping into a space during all of that, fine, it's whatever. The more egregious thing is the tower turns into his flagship. One horrible place to store your superweapon, pointed right down at your planet. But hey, if not for the loyalty of his people, maybe that's why they are all following him. Madman with a nuke, basically. The other problem with it is that the Yamato and crew were right there. They didn't see the ship suddenly take off and fly away from them. I don't know. As much as I've much as I've been made to portray Dessler by suggestion, this is even a bit much for me. Although I don't think Dessler should have boarded the Yamato, as I mentioned before, just fire the cannon right through Yamato's center while they crashed into it, I do really like the radioactive gas boarding measure. It makes them fairly unique, given their biology. Of course, we had that Gamlis pilot that got captured before that handled normal air just fine. As much as I hate the Yuki fake-out death thing, how did she go out so easily when Sonata basically walked through the radioactive gas? He coughed it up and managed to get all the way to the control room just fine. She was in the gas just as long as he was, though, but what was she doing? Taking the deepest breaths imaginable? Or was she weakened enough by it that when she fell like 10 feet, was that enough to do her in? I will say the fake out is what set me up for not feeling as much when she does get hit in movie 2. Thankfully, there was enough in that movie to push it well beyond that moment of disbelief and make me feel for it. I get what Okada is saying to Kodai about learning to love many people, but I honestly don't get how that was a lesson for Kodai meant to be learned on the events of the journey so far. Maybe due to the events of the Iskander and Gamlis episodes themselves? Kodai has become a better person over the course of the season for sure. No question. I just don't know if brotherly love for others was in that lineup. Yamato's ice/rubber shield just comes out of nowhere. Worse, it's there to just instantly defeat the series' big bad in one go. No lesson to Dessler about obsession, receiving his just desserts, or anything like that. It's an entirely pointless shot, either designed to fill time or wrap up a plot line that they had no idea how to wrap up. You know, beyond just not having done it, I mean. Which would be what leads me to think it was just a time sink. The shield should have been either mentioned before or something Sonata had been working on in the background of various scenes throughout the season. You know, something that constantly keeps failing or is too big a risk to the ship to actually use. And here in the final episode, with nothing left, throws the switch, everyone sweats for a moment, and a miracle of miracles, it works. Having it just be a thing out of nowhere and saves the day feels pointless. The editors noted, Dessler followed the Yamato for 122 days without ambushing it or even reorganizing his remaining fleet, which has been a hang-up for me the entire time. That Gamlis was a galaxy-spanning power that just won a war with some other foreign aggressor. As for the, what's his name, Domel? The Domel thing where we first saw Domel? We saw their travel lines on multiple maps, leading away from their home galaxy to places unknown, beyond our galaxy anyway. Hell, we saw a ship heading back to Pluto to resettle it in absence of the base that got destroyed. Yamato let it pass in order to hurry on. There should still be a massive empire out there. The weakness of Voltes 5, to use a comparison, in my mind, was that the galaxy-invading Bosnian Empire is taken out by one ship attacking one planet. That's what happened here. I'm clearly meant to believe that Gamlis has fallen. I don't think so, not unless the new season covers it. And my last note here. At most of all, Yamato returns with about a month left until everyone's dead. We know from the last time they contacted the Earth on the way to Gamlis that people were dying to the radiation. That means that the countdown wouldn't be to everyone dying at once. It would be till Earth would be uninhabitable anymore due to the radiation. So pushing it to the wire should mean that the vast majority of the remaining human civilization should already be dead. And we aren't even going to talk about the long-term consequences of what that radiation would do to the survivors. So yeah, that is the first unbelievable part. The second is us seeing the Earth return to blue and green. I know the second movie says that it's been 3 years, but this would be a multi-generational undertaking. Getting water back to Earth, enough to fill the oceans again, replanting the entire surface, reestablishing an atmosphere. God knows how many species of animal have gone extinct. All of that without the infrastructure in place as well. This might as well be a fantasy at this point. I only bring this up specifically because I am a fan of the Kim Stanley Robinson hard sci-fi series, Red Mars, Blue Mars, Green Mars, about how long it fucking takes them with the technology I believe it played here to terraform Mars, essentially. And I have to think a radiation pockmarked riddled Earth that we see in this show would be in a similar state. So again, just unbelievability to me. Alright, as I said, we have a comment. Kellen Winslow from Earth Yamato returns. You know, this episode is really, really bad. The writing is simply terrible. Granted, it was a kid's show, but the gaps in logic and continuity really destroy any emotion the show was trying to go for. So, Dessler is alive. How? Their explanation makes zero sense given what we saw a couple of episodes earlier. And he waited, 122 days before he did anything? Why? That's bad enough, but to suddenly have a magical shield that reflects the Dessler cannon? What, really? Talk about Deus Ex Machina to the max. Like Leiji Mastomo, sorry, I don't think I've ever said this name before. Like Leiji Mastomoto stepped in himself and said, nope, that won't work. Then Yuki dies. Why? I've seen that ending quite a few times and it still never makes complete sense. And then Cody, I think meant Kodai. And then Kodai is suddenly in love with her to the point that he doesn't care about going on. What? That was completely unearned. Yuki has been such a non-character up till now that her death means absolutely nothing. Frankly, it's comical at best. I see what they were going for, but they didn't think about how to build up on that. They just wanted to have an emotional payoff without doing all the hard work that makes such a scene matter. They were never a couple ever. Well, I mean, I disagree with that one, but I'll cover that in the end. And on rewatch, it's really shocking how little Okita does in this show. He's barely there for the big fights and simply lays in bed for the second half of the show. And it's really bad writing. And somehow Yuki comes back to life. How? Even if such a reason like Okita called her soul back could in any way work, such a thing was never mentioned or hinted at in any way. But worst of all is Earth. They get back and then it's suddenly fine again? BS to the max. There are no stakes in the show at all. The radiation fixer machine was never said to be able to magically fix the planet as if nothing happened. I could go on, and I have given the show leeway because it's really just a kid's show, but come on. All the issues just pile up on themselves and compound into a huge pile of garbage. Sometimes a bad ending really can ruin a show and detract from the good parts. If something leads up to garbage, then the journey wasn't worth the trip. Still, it's important to see this so you can fully appreciate how much better $21.99 is. Okay, I guess a couple of things here. I guess the first thing to cover, since most of this has already been covered by my notes, you're saying that Yuki and Kaido were never in a relationship at all. Yuki was very clearly hinting that she had a thing for him, to the point of suggesting what they should do with their kids and stuff back home. That Kodai didn't recognize what was being talked about. I mean, it's one-sided, but it was a relationship there. I would not ever have said that there wasn't. And not for nothing, I think Yuki is the more important part of that. It's not like Analyzer and Yuki, which is Analyzer pushing on Yuki. I think if Kodai had recognized what was going on, he would have been fine. As for saying that an ending can ruin everything, I think Lessons and I covered this when we watched Stardust Memory, because Lessons and I had a real problem with the final episode of Stardust Memory, and it's basically 12 episodes of greatness and one problem episode, or one episode that detracts from the rest. And I do not think that that's the case. I think you can tally up everything that you enjoyed and still come out in a positive. God, I don't remember the name of the show. There's that one recent one, or I guess there's two recent ones. Whatever one that character 02 comes from, I remember everyone saying that the ending really brought down the rest of the show. And what was it? Promised Neverland Season 2 kind of ruins where Season 1 was going. I've heard people say, because I haven't seen either of those shows. But I don't know. If you really liked Season 1, you can just kind of forget about Season 2. And whatever reason you liked where 02 was going, maybe just like forget. I don't know. I'm just saying that if you had a good time getting there, then maybe the garbage place that you wound up in wasn't the element of the journey you're going to remember. Especially if you're a kid. Me and Lessons are watching Gundam Wing, which is nostalgia fuel for us as anime fans from where we come from. That show is not good. But it's nostalgic. We enjoyed it back in the day, and that makes it easier to deal with now. Anyway, that was our comment. So nothing left to do now but hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Alright, are we going to have the same theme songs before? Sounds like it. I don't think this is the same opening. No, this is definitely not the same opening. Two, in case you didn't know. Okay, but the theme song doesn't make any sense anymore in this aspect. I mean, unless we're going back to Iskander in this season. Yeah, we're literally not doing that this time, though. Sorry, I just kind of wish they had done a new opening song. If not for the fact that we're just like throwing a 2 in there. Just the same opening song. Every time they hit the Yamato, they shorten Yamato a little bit and just throw in a really quick 2. Here's one aspect I'm hoping they don't repeat from the movie, which is to say that the intro to the comet takes 2 minutes to get to. Alright, 3 years, although technically only 1 year from the end of Yamato, but 3 years since the start of the war. Okay, we're already like 5 times faster than the movie opening. Okay, I thought they were about to show us people suffering, because I could have sworn I heard horror movie screaming. I think for as poorly as it was fleshed out in the movie, the Comet Empire is a cool concept.
彗星はおびただしい攻防を放ってその進路に立ちふさがっている邪魔な星は容赦なくひしゃぎ
Although I guess the element of them enslaving planets doesn't make much sense if the idea is that sorry, what they're getting over right now. Them enslaving planets doesn't make a lot of sense as the comet just leaves that space behind.
その上強力に武装した要塞都市帝国であったのだ彗星帝国は無敵の勢いで
Alright, looks like I got to increase the margins a little bit more, because that's the thing I was trying to defeat.
彼らは全ての惑星を植民地にしてその住民を奴隷化した。こうして彗星帝国は無限の大宇宙を全て我が物にしようとしていたのである。
I guess conceivably these might have been the people that Gamulus was fighting against and succeeded. That Dome will beat these guys once. That's good imagery. Same audio track, that one. I don't remember, did they show us this shot before in the movie? That it was a city on the inside? I think there's also the element that this is going to be 26 episodes long. And the movie was only like 2.5 hours, so about 5 episodes in length. Yeah, gonna have to widen those margins.
この銀河の太陽系の中でも最も美しい第三番惑星地球こそしばらく骨休めをなさる格好の星かと思います。
私に休息の必要はない。この星に惹かれるのは何よりも様々な生命に満ち溢れているからだ。中でも数十億の人間は奴隷となって我々に奉仕するである。
So what are they thinking of stopping the comet to settle down?
水星帝国は彼らを利用し全宇宙を治める礎とするのだ。
Guess so.
いやいつもながら大抵の遠大なご抱負この芸日ほとほと感服いたします。
大抵もはや地球攻略のための
Is that supposed to be NVIDIA there on the right-hand side? She definitely looks a lot different than from the movie.
おそらく我々本体が到着する頃には地球は全面降伏。人類は奴隷となって大抵をお迎えするでありましょう。
そう簡単にいきますか。おお、ですら相当。
Again, his soundtrack. Also the fact they go from calling him Führer to leader. And yes, I know Führer just means leader.
早速歓迎の支度を。いや、それより今の地球攻略の戦略をお聞きしたい。よろしい。
Yeah, what would you have fucking done if Dessler had been successful? Because he would have ruled a radioactive Earth, and you guys would have been fucked.
我がガトランティス時間にして約6660時間かかるわけです。すでにシリウス方面には地球攻略の主力としてバルゼ連合艦隊があり、いつでも突入できる構えができております。 またこのプロキオン方面には南雲艦隊がおり、この両者の最前衛にはナスカ遊撃隊があって、すでに太陽
I feel like this is going to answer one question I had from the movie, which is when we get to that one destroyed fleet, it's going to have to answer that these people destroyed it.
申し上げるまでもなく、その後方にはデスラー閣下の艦隊並びに我がゴーランド
A fleet, a fucking fleet.
のためにザバイバル将軍の突撃機構兵団を配備、万全の構えを図っております。
諸君は一つお忘れのよう
だ。とおっしゃいますと、デスラー閣下。
ヤマト。
ヤマト。
デスラー閣下のガミラスをたった一隻で破ったという。
Oh, come on. I have a fleet still.
ガミラスは滅びてはいない。私のいる限り必ず再興する。しかし、
And presumably all the other fucking planets in the Empire.
地球と我々とでは文明の程度が違うのです。その戦力には比較にならない差があります。
ナスカの偵察報告書によりますと、ヤマトはもはや地球でも見向きもされず、太陽系外周艦隊に配備されて辺境警備に当たっているとか。
戦いは機械力だけでするものではない。大抵地球との戦いには必ずヤマトが。
I mean, because technically they have the technology of Iskander.
私がヤマトを倒してご覧に入れましょう。それが私の生きがいであり、友好の絆を結んでくださった大帝への恩返しにもなるかと。なるほど。諸君、いささかでも私の疑問に答える気があったら、ヤマトを試してみるんですな。
The reverse Heil. I mean, yeah, you'd basically have to have them show how strong Yamato is. Because imagine if it worked the other way. If Dessler ran in, destroyed the Yamato, they'd be like, oh, the Yamato was nothing then.
その勢いを同じ太陽系の惑星にまで押し広げようとしていた。各惑星には無数の基地が建設され、資源開発が急ピッチで進められていた。
What happened to the Gameless ship that went to Pluto? They really should have. They really should have had Gameless people on Pluto, and have that be the small area where Gameless and humans, or Gamelins and humans, were working together.
地球到着は10月10日午後3時頃だ。地球防衛軍本部に報告しろ。
了解、報告します。報告するのはそこだけでいいんですか？
他にどこがある？
地球防衛軍本部中央病院。中央病院には大事なガールフレンドが待ってるんでしょ？バカ野郎。
Because she was a nurse before, and I guess maybe she's a. This is the 70s to 80s. She's probably still a nurse. Well, she was a nurse at the start of the first season. Then she just became like a... I don't know what to call her. She has a title and everything, but she was like serving drinks and stuff on the ship. No, hit him! Fucking hit him! It's sexual assault! God, this show better not end the same way that the movie did. I will be so fucking down if this ends the same way. Especially because the show would have had 5 times the length to make me feel sad about losing people.
6時の方向にデータにない未確認飛行物体。
何？どうせ迷子のスペースカーゴか何かだろ。気にするな。
いや違います。速度21宇宙ノット。我が艦隊を追尾してきます。
何？大パネルをせ。
距離2万。国籍、認識番号ともに不明。
万が一のこともある。相原。
Which paints a weird picture.
了解。
No nationality, implying that different nations on Earth have their own space forces.
太陽系外周艦隊。第三護衛隊機関ヤマト。地球防衛軍本部。地球防衛軍本部。応答願います。ダメだ。全く応答はありません。
Also, that's a change I didn't think about. That Kodai is in charge of the Yamato instead of a supply fleet like he is in the movie.
まだ捕捉できません。くそ、無理です。このレーダーでは目標を捕捉できません。
バカ、レーダーのせいにするな。
I guess that makes them a little bit more advanced than Gamulus was, at the very least. Had enough time to change clothes. And again, you're captain of the goddamn ship. This isn't your job. I thought you learned shit. Or are they implying that they don't have the, what do they call it? The Tiger Squadron? I don't remember if I said it before, because I've said it in the movie, and I don't remember if I said it here. I do love the manta ray designs of the Comet Empire ships.
ご覧になりましたか、バルゼー司令長官。
ご苦労なすか。結局ヤマトは手も足も出ずじまいだったな。
さようで。
水星帝国本国でも大笑いしてることであろう。ですら閣下の臆病風にも呆れたもんだ。
Again, if things go the way they did in the movie, you guys are going to get your comeuppance, so I don't have to fret about that little slight.
すごい入力エネルギーだ。まだ続いてるぞ。相原、そんなもんじゃ間に合わんぞ。
Let's just make sure it's super hard to repair. Don't, like, turn the power off to it or anything.
エネルギーカウンターは全く動きません。よし、エネルギーカット。全動力停止だ。それは止まらないんです。動力を切ったのにか。はい。
回路に入ったエネルギーがマシンシステムの中を勝手に駆け巡っています。
動力回路の配線を全部切れ。はい。オフにするんじゃないぞ。引きちぎるんだ。
Well, there you go. I guess implying that code I got it from somewhere. どうしたなら？
局長、間に合いません。安全表示レベルを 100% オーバーしています。
通信装置に異常発生。真田さん。
今忙しいんだ。ちょっと待ってろ。
あは、もうダメ。オーバーヒートだ。真田さん。
しょうがないやつだな、まったく。
アナライズ。
I'm about to say, we know Analyzer can get drunk, so clearly there's some sort of liquid absorption he has. Could hit him with something.
しかし局長、かなりの量の音声信号がこのマシンへ入りました。
記憶装置は
働いていました。
じゃあ再生できるな。
はい、できます。それに
Okay, this was different too. It was Kodai in a hurry that recorded all this.
一体何が？
キャッチした音声信号を解読したら。
I just like the idea that they got hit with a transmission so powerful that it like shorted out all their communications equipment.
Yoshi, 終わった。苦労させやがったぜ。どうだい、通信テープがこんなに焼き焦げちゃって、どうしようもないな。 一応持って帰って真田さんに調査してもらおう。はい。
Of course, they got their own recording.
事件が連続したもんですね。これもあの謎の敵の仕業だったんだろうか。
I mean, obviously, we wouldn't think so because of the movie. We know it's probably the transmission from Teresa. But you would think it was an attack from these guys because they just attacked it. See, there you go.
我々が簡単に手を出せぬただ一つの星。いや、ただ一人の女テレサ。奴が動き出すことはとうに分かっていた。
Yeah, I didn't think about that before. The element that she's antimatter would make the whole planet probably antimatter.
強力な力で放っておけ。たかが女一人のやることだ。
彼女は反物質を使う女です。放っておいてはためになりません。
いや、サーベラ。私も大抵に賛成だ。テレサからの通信を受ければきっと地球は動き出す。その先頭に立つのがヤマトだ。私はむしろそれが楽しみだ。
Okay, at the very least, he's not agreeing out of stupidity. He's agreeing out of personal motivation. Okay. Instead of cracking on Ahara like he did in the movies, cracking on some guy I don't think we've ever met before. Because that's not the previous navigator. Is it going to be the Andromeda? That's the Andromeda. Unless they changed its name. This is where they turn out to be dicks. That's where they turn out to be dicks. Yeah, I think the Kodai that I know would order everyone to prepare for ramming speed. Attention all Yamato crew, brace for impact. That sounds like an oh shit moment. Hard to port. Yamato's hit harder stuff than this. Yeah, the angle of the camera, they've already turned. I thought their fins were about to clash. I mean, to be fair, neither of them flinched, apparently. At least the captains didn't. I mean, legitimately.
この癖は治りません。
なんてやつだ。
アナライザーったら
Legitimately, just take the top of its head off, mount it to a table.
しかしその前途には何が待っているというのだろうか。
I didn't recognize that the episode was over until I realized that the narrator was talking to us. Okay, I guess no real next time other than that. Do we get editor's notes this time? New ending, though. Couldn't refer to Teresa if it wasn't a new ending. Same weird, uncomfortable shot of Teresa still, though. Thankful I've got end credits here for name pickup. Acting captain. We substitute captain most of the time unless acting is really necessary. Okay. So we did get editor's notes. That one editor's note. Yeah, again, I find Teresa is just perpetually always naked. Is just a weird thing. I don't know what they're trying to do with that, other than, I don't know, sell the show to boys of some age. Not nice. I don't I don't appreciate it. I found it weird in the movie too. But they only really sold her on the element that she is antimatter. In which case I totally get that. God, I can't remember the name of it. It is the sequel to either Forge of God or Engines of God. I think it's Forge of God. The sequel to where an alien... It's the whole dark forest theory that the space is probably filled with aliens. But they're all remaining quiet because the idea is that you make yourself too loud, you make yourself a target, and everyone will try and eliminate you because everyone's afraid of the possibility of everyone else. Well, that happens to humanity. And the whole book is about that sort of thing. And essentially, I think they... Oh, I'm not going to give away. But the point is that a spaceship of children from Earth go out to try to take care of, let's say, the people that tried to take care of us. And they have laden space with booby traps. Specifically to distract from anyone trying to come for them, or just anyone who's generally out there. And one of them is like what seems like a hidden base on some random ass deserted planet. And it turns out that the hidden base is actually a machine that emits a pulse or something that changes all matter in its vicinity into antimatter. So the moment one of the ships tries to land, it detonates the ship that they came from because of matter-antimatter. And they just can't touch those people ever again. And now there's a whole planet of antimatter too, by the way, which will just destroy anything that tries to land on it. So, yeah. I think that's what I think of most of the time when it comes to matter-antimatter stuff like this, because it's not really like, well, we have antimatter engines or things like that. This is just the conceit also, how the movie ended, which is basically matter-antimatter collision doing the same thing. Not for nothing, by the way, if you don't know, we've actually created antimatter here on Earth before. Very small, and I think it doesn't last for very long. So it hasn't had any practical use or application yet, but technologically we're there. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I like that it's already instantly different from the movie. It's not like trying to tell the difference between the first 5 episodes of Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where it's like, oh, this is kind of the same thing. I don't know what the difference is. Well, this I can tell what the difference is immediately, and it's already fleshing out things that I had questions about in the movie. So I'm glad that it is the way it is. Obviously, I think I already have notes and problems with certain things, but I have that from the in-world perspective, not from a this doesn't make any sense perspective. So that said, I already complained in the beginning that my tongue was killing me, hasn't helped that I've taken numbing agents, so I think that I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. We'll come back with notes next time. So until then, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?